This is Mason Johnson. This is my opposing/counter argument speech, and this is my note card. So let's begin. Raise your hand if you or a loved one has ever suffered from depression, cancer, HIV/AIDS, or even malaria. Many of us have crossed paths with these various diseases, whether it be us, a loved one, or a family friend, and are all unaware that the drugs used to treat these diseases were all once tested on animals to do so. In Scott Nolan's article, Animal Research Helps Pets Too, he reveals a study that shows that 62% of Americans say that animals need some form of protection, but overall should be tested on for the benefits of humans. Over the next few minutes, we will take a look at how animal testing should be kept legal, specifically on how it allows for great medical advances and can deem a product as safe for us as humans that wouldn't be able to be accomplished by any other means. To begin, let's get a better understanding of what animal testing actually is. As we discussed last week in Dr. Rachel Hajar's scholarly article, Animal Testing in Medicine, she defines animal testing as the experimentation on animals to provide a better understanding of how a certain medicine or a certain drug and even products affects those animals, which further correlates to human use. Without animal testing, we would have no way to deem a product or a medicine as safe for us as consumers. Many animals share similar DNA to humans and have the similar genetic makeup, which is why animal testing is important. For these reasons, I aim to prove that animal testing is necessary for medical advances and how it protects our safety as consumers. Now that we have a better understanding of what animal testing actually is, we can move forward to highlight the first reason of why animal testing should be kept legal. Animal testing allows for great medical advances that would not be able to be accomplished by any other means. In the 1991 book entitled Science, Medicine, and Animals by the National Academy of Science and the Institute of Medicine Committee, they highlight that by studying animals, it is possible to obtain information that would not be possible by any other way. Within the book, they tell a story about a guy named Greg Mass. Greg Mass was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a cancer that is one of the deadliest in the United States and throughout the world. He underwent chemotherapy for 3 years, which controlled the cancer, but then it soon reappeared. He went through another 2 years of chemotherapy, and then that was followed by a bone marrow transplant, and eventually, after the second round of that bone marrow transplant, it disappeared. Within the book, they also reveal how polio, depression, rheumatic fever, and many other diseases have all been cured through animal testing. But back to the story of Greg Mass, it is important to understand this story because the drug used to kill the cancer cell in Greg Mass's body were all tested in the last decade through various rats and mice that were all susceptible to cancer. So as we approach our adulthood, we will soon be faced with more medical issues or have loved ones or friends faced with medical issues. So it leaves you with this choice. Would you take or recommend a product that was once tested on an animal, even if it meant it was going to save your life? I think I would. I think you would too. Not only is animal testing important for medical advances, it is also how we can deem a product as safe for consumer use. In Katie Gallan's scholarly article, Detailed Discussion of Animal Testing in Commercial Products, she reveals that animal testing fully emerged in 1933 after 17 women went blind after using mascara. Yes, you heard that correctly. 17 women went blind from using mascara in 1933. But had animal testing been around, they would be completely fine. In her article, she reveals how the DNA and genetic makeup of rats and mice, the two most tested on animals, are similar to humans and how testing products on these animals can keep us safe as consumers. In her article, she reveals a test called the Draize-Ireton test and how it is used to detect the potential harm that simple household products like cleaners or cosmetics like mascara affects these animals, which further correlates to human use. Whether it be cosmetics, the industrial products, or household cleaners, all products gotta go through the Draize-Ireton test to make sure it is deemed as safe for us as consumers. It is important that we understand now why testing on animals is deemed as important and why it should be kept legal. Without these tests, such as the Draize-Ireton test, we would not be safe as consumers and would have no idea how a potential product could affect us. Now, I am aware of the medical advances and other discoveries that have been done that were made possible without the use of testing on animals. In Sonali Doak and Shashikant Dwal's scholarly article, Alternatives to Animal Testing, that was published in the Saudi Farm, they define the alternatives as any scientific method employing non-sentient material that replaces the use of living vertebrates. What this means is that there's ways to do animal testing that don't require the use of living vertebrates, which are animals. They go on to explain how one alternative to testing on animals within the cosmetic world is the development and the use of artificial human skin that can be tested and show the effects of what the cosmetics would do to our skin. However, in Katie Glon's article, Detailed Discussion of Animal Testing and Commercial Products, she states that any alternatives to animal testing are difficult to perform due to the scientific credibility behind them. While there are alternatives to animal testing, many lack the scientific credibility behind them due to the difficulty to perform them and how animal testing is so much better than the alternative to do so. To review, animal testing should be kept legal as it allows for great medical advances and how it keeps us safe as consumers. For these reasons, I hope we all understand how important animal testing actually is for us as consumers. After hearing about Greg Mass beating cancer through chemotherapy that was once tested on rats, and hearing about the 17 women that went blind from untested mascara, we all should have a better understanding of why animal testing needs to be legal. After learning of all the benefits of animal testing, I would like to revisit my first question. If you or a loved one was dying, would you take or recommend a product that was once tested on an animal if it meant it was going to save your life? Thank you.